It's not.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Polk County Board of Commissioners for Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. All commissioners are present. Announcements are on the agenda. Extra copies are in the back of the room. First item up is for comments for items not on the agenda.
A question.
Yes.
So yesterday's presentation from Polk CDC, you were all present. Dana got back to me and kind of gave me a list of data points that she thinks she gleaned from the meeting and that she thinks she can deliver by the end of the week. I'm just curious if that will be a deciding factor in your decision to sort of partner with Polk CDC on this project, or if I should, as a small nonprofit, ask her to just let her know not to spend the time on that. It's all data they have. Like I said, it's all reported.
Why is she communicating to you?
What?
Why is she communicating to you? You sit on our board. Why isn't she communicating to the board chair? For the request from the board chair?
It's irrelevant.
Well, it's not relevant to me.
Okay. I could forward her to you.
If you shine me and don't answer me, I'm going to vote no.
Okay, I'll let her notice.
It's not your job to do that. We gave her direction here.
Okay, she did email me and just wanted ask for some clarification because I have a relationship with her.
Well, that's unfortunate because I think we gave her direction.
Well, it wasn't super clear, and it wasn't clear whether or not that would be a deciding factor, and it's clear now that it isn't. So why waste your time?
She doesn't need it.
Okay.
I'm not wasting her time. Make me want to be a partner. Make me feel good about it. I asked some simple questions for where they are and how they do things. I don't know why that's so complicated.
No, that's fine. What I'm asking, because I got the sense that there's not interest in doing this and moving forward. That was a sense I had. That's why I'm asking you now, if the data that you asked for is provided, will that actually influence a decision to participate?
Yeah, if you're trying to sell me something and you just tell me, trust me, you'll be fine.
That's not.
But you don't want to show me any of the sales features of what you're trying to sell me? So I'm not going to buy it.
She's not trying to sell something. So
well, she is, because we're having to do the work for free.
What?
It's a pro bono program.
CDBG home rehab programs are often administered by community development.
You don't need to lecture me.
And
I'm telling you my answer.
This is a conversation, and I'm getting the sense that you do not want to participate, and that's
not at the current status.
Okay.
So I'm interested in participating, but I just wanted to see what it is and what the benefits.
What the programs are?
Yeah.
So that was in the sheet. So
it's just, I would like to see some history.
Okay.
I'd like to see some history. It was a good question.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of a house that was old and it got a new roof and new paint.
Okay.
All right, but what else? Where are the houses? Are they only in cities?
So I'll tell you the data points that so we can have the discussion as a board.
And we had the data points, but I'd like to see a little more information on some of that as well.
So let's have the discussion now. We have nothing major on the agenda. So I will share the email from her, and I didn't know what to say to her. So this is good that we're talking about it.
Well, how many?
So she's proposed, this is what she can accomplish by the end of the week. 7 past years of the program, including the 2015 when Polk County partnered with them, and then Independence, Fall City, Dallas, Monmouth, Independence, Fall City. Homeowners' jurisdictions on the amount of funds provided, primary work performed, homeowner status, i.e. were they seniors? And the age of the home. So just because I am familiar with this program, I am on the board, so I'm a bit familiar with it. This is a program usually administered by counties. Okay. This is something that none of us have to administer. So the CEL, this is a longstanding partnership by IGA. Okay. The CEL is that we sponsor it. We look over the applications. I've done this for Fall City. I was a certifying officer for Fall City when they did this because there's great need in Fall City, great need throughout the county for this economic development.
That's why I'm interested.
Okay, good. So they do all the administration, right? On behalf of the government. It's much like many of the programs.
We don't have any work to do in the county. Nothing's gonna go into county.
We will receive the completed applications, and then so it needs 2 signatures from them, and then from, whether it's Fall City, Independence, whoever's sponsoring it that year. This is something we trade off on to be good regional partners, right? And we look over that. Sometimes there's, environmental reviews, et cetera. It's an incredible amount of administrative work, as you might imagine, with the federal program. This program also folds in the person who kind of does the intake, Kelly, also does the individual savings account program, another program often run by county community development departments to get people in a financial position to buy their first home, to to keep their home if they're in some financial trouble, kind of that kind of advice. So this is one of multiple programs again, I'd like to explore more because there's a lot of more opportunity for people in our community to hold on to their homes or to access home ownership, which I think is one of the best indicators of long-term financial security. This is a small program. It's, small amount of money every 2 years, tons of administrative lift.
Every year.
Well, it's a 2-year grant.
It's a 2-year grant, but they apply for it every year.
Right.
So it's never really a 2-year grant.
Yeah, there's a staggering of the application and when the funds need to be expended.
Because we don't, okay, go.
Yeah, that's all I got.
It was just a really.
So I just don't want to waste your time. They're a scrappy nonprofit.
That's why I suggested yesterday, if we are such a tight timeline and you're hitting us so short of time, you could have been here 2 months ago.
Well, when did they?
So if they're nervous about whether we're going to accept it or not, why not find somebody different for this year? That's a yes, and then we can do it next year with a little more information.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
I just want more information and just.
We've done it once in 10 years and the other cities have done it. I understand that the majority of the benefit is in the cities. But that tells me that's a call to action. How do we get this message out to folks, right? When I was in Falls City, I made sure it was in the utility bills. I worked with Rita to create communication that would make sense to people, make them feel comfortable to apply. Building trust with these programs with people that's something we should probably partner on. And I will certainly reach out to the district utilities to make sure that folks across the county understand that this is available.
And I am firmly on top of our seniors with fixed income and expenses. So if that benefits that group, but that's what I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and she explained that. The data set was to ask for every single project over the last 10 years. Before and after photos.
I've been happy with the last 4 or 5 years.
Like, okay, I say that more reasonable sampling would be reasonable at this point.
Get something here because that presentation wasn't very good.
Okay. I make decisions based on what is most advantageous to my constituents, not how charmed I am.
Well,
Okay.
I'm doing the same thing, but also at the same time, I just want, before we start agreeing stuff, how much impact is on Polk County.
That's my
Do we have
question. What
any-
is the administrative impact? That's what we should be thinking about.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that concern at all. I've been on that other end of it in Falls City. I can tell you, what is the risk? What if they default on a project and what is our exposure? Those are the questions that I've expected. But I know for a fact, and I said it yesterday, that I know people who this has benefited. It's benefited a lot
Yes,
of people,
I heard
not
that.
just seniors on fixed income. They're low and moderate income federal requirements based on the area median income. But these are folks who likely cannot make safety improvements to their home without the program. There's way more need than resource. It's probably something we should think about growing, given how expensive it is now to upkeep and obtain housing. So I'm gonna leave it there. I just want to know, I know some of the staff's attitude on it, if they should put the time in to obtain that information. I do think it's relevant information, but I don't want to waste their time.
I'd agree with that.
That was a public comment portion, an agendized item, so I guess we're not doing anything with that I can see, that I can hear. I mean,
I
again,
just want some more feedback from you.
make me feel good about it. Show me what you've been doing. Show up here once every 10 years and then try and guilt me into it.
Are the data points that I just read from her email, will that be sufficient?
I have no
Okay.
idea unless,
Let's-
I mean, if she just does that in a spreadsheet, that won't impress me much.
So what else can I tell her?
Again, she qualified this 4 times in the meeting yesterday, but said, show me some examples of what you've done. Stuff that's tangible, things that we can tell the community. This is why we partner. This is why we're spending your tax dollars for our staff to do this work,
So
to sponsor these kind of
in this
programs.
email, I can see that she's going to provide 21 projects. So this is
That's a start.
residents' homes with info on the jurisdiction, the amount of funds provided and the work performed. Homeowner status, whether they're seniors, because that was stated as a concern, the age of the home, and some photos.
That would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell her to carry on.
Significant compromise from what I first asked for, but it would be helpful.
I mean, asking for every project in its history is like a full federal.
Well, I just thought that that'd be something that she'd have in a briefcase. Honestly.
I really,
That's your primary job and you've got all these projects, like, you ought to be able to just roll those out.
Yeah.
I thought, but then to argue with me and then tell me it's so complicated, it's like, wow, I feel really, really interested in joining with that. When you resist, you push back, and then you tell me it's too complicated. Like, wow, I don't know why we would want to jump in that. So just make me feel good about it. Sell me on the thing. Don't show up once every 10 years and say, well, you should be doing this because you haven't been.
Well, I think
That's not compelling.
they've approached the county in the past since I've been here, and we've said, no, we don't want to do it. It's not that the the program would end if we don't. But we've said no to them in the past without any invitation to present, just putting that out there. It's not a big deal. It's just, it's an important program. I feel we should do our part. If all the other things line up, we have the administrative capacity. Like I said, I'm happy to serve in that role because I do feel that it benefits.
And I think that would be a conflict for you to do that and serve on that board.
That big conflict?
It wouldn't be a conflict under Oregon's ethics rules. I don't know about the ethical rules for the money attached to the federal program. I'd have to look into that further, just because different federal monies have different, more expansive ethics.
There could be an organizational conflict. Well,
Like, for an example, it would be an organizational conflict if there's HUD dollars.
Yeah.
So I'd have to look into that further.
I think it
But
is HUD originated, so I would have an organizational conflict.
Yeah, I think it would be easier to have staff be signatories and
Okay.
that type of stuff.
Sounds good.
So I guess we're just waiting for more information.
Yeah, she'll provide that by the end of the week, and then maybe we can discuss Monday and let her know from there.
You won't be here. We won't have a Monday meeting.
Oh, sorry, I'm not here.
Looks like all three of us are out.
yeah, I'm out too.
Yeah, there won't be a Monday meeting.
Well, I might tell her that it's a no.
Please don't do that. Let her have a chance to perform.
And I think her timeline is, I'll let her know what our availability is. Or Nicole, if you could, I'll CC you on an email if you could get back to her and be the primary contact. Okay.
I'm going to move on to the approval of the agenda.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the minutes from July 10th.
Move approval.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Approval of the consent calendar.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Reclassification of an employee, Mr. Hawkins.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I am here this morning to request a reclassification of an employee within our Community Development Department. Specifically, this is for Eric Knudsen. We are requesting that he be reclassified from an associate planner to a senior planner. As you may already be aware, we recently lost another planner in the department, or will be there. Michael's headed off to law school. Morgan was unable to talk him out of it, I guess.
try.
So, with that, Eric's caseload is about to increase dramatically, which will include more complex cases, including long-range planning as well, long-range planning projects. So Sydney has reached out to me to make this request. It would be, if approved, would be effective August 1st. It is a fiscal impact of approximately $11,000 to include PERS contributions. We expect that would be possibly offset a little bit by whomever comes in. Generally, we're hiring at the lower range of positions as a associate planner.
Good.
All right, thank you very much.
So I want to add on, since we got an announcement yesterday, I think, we all got it, about public health administrator. So can you tell me what our process is, what your thinking is about that process? Because, I mean, I'm sad,
Yeah,
but this is such a big deal that this board needs to be engaged with that process.
yeah, so I was actually in a meeting with Noel yesterday when the email came through. We had a brief conversation. I think we're gonna have to have a couple of conversations, which is the process for immediate. What are we going to do? Because that is not an easy position to fill, as you are all well aware of. We have a couple of ideas for the interim and how to handle day-to-day activities within the department and things like that. From there, we need to have some serious discussions about, do we go through our normal recruiting process? Do we look at using a headhunting agency, anything like that? We got, I'm gonna say we got really fortunate last time, but it wasn't quick. It took some time, so right now, we just need to have those discussions. It's pretty fresh. I don't know exactly what the thoughts of the board are right now or Noel's full thought. It was a very brief conversation I had with her.
I'm just injecting that, I think.
Yeah.
Though I realize that that person reports to the director. Politically, it's a big deal for this board and for our constituents. And I'd like to make certain that we have a voice and a process,
Okay.
engaged in the process.
Well, I will make that top priority and I'll probably be having discussions with Noel again today to see what we do. Naomi did give us essentially a 30-day notice, which is helpful. But probably, yeah, it's gonna take much longer than that, so.
Matt, can we see the salary range and description of the position?
Yeah, you want me to
I know
make,
it's a board appointed position, right?
no, it's not.
I thought the board appointed the public health administrator.
No, public health administrator
That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm
Yeah.
engaged in it.
Oh, okay.
answers directly to the health services director.
Oh, okay,
So it's not a department head level position yet,
gotcha.
quasi is, and as Commissioner Pope pointed out, it is a very has become a very political position.
Especially when that person gets right into leading state association work and speaking on behalf of all other politicians.
Well, it's a good sign to have good people in that role. That was my reaction, like, well, big loss for us, but at least one of ours who has, I think, done a really good job in her communication, networking, and I think if she was here long-term, I think there'd been a lot of visioning in that position.
It also exemplifies how the state steals people
Yes.
from us. And that we're constantly setting people up for them.
Yeah, Naomi actually really changed the position to be something different than we had ever had before. Before in the past, the public health administrator really was, in fact, actually, we called it the public health manager. They managed a department. They kind of took information in from the state, but she was actively involved. I shouldn't say was, she's still here. She is actively involved over at a much higher level.
Well, this is the danger of having somebody with this much skill, this much these many qualifications, doing a really good job. We have an expectation now of that kind of performance as we move forward. So anything that goes backwards from that will be a detriment to all of us. Not that we can't avoid that, but
I can still, to Jeremy's request, if you would like, I can print off the job specification and put the salary range on it, just so you're still aware of that.
Also curious how, and I'm sure Noel is very aware of this, but where that salary, has it been updated recently? Is it, we want somebody good, obviously, but I'm just curious.
That salary range was updated 1 year ago.
Oh,
when
okay.
we updated all of health services.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's perfectly in line, but it has been updated.
It's appropriate.
So as a board, you're gonna need to decide what kind of person you want in that position. Do you want someone that takes care of Polk County and manages Polk County? Or do you want an advocate that goes out, attends statewide meetings and does all that stuff? Because that was more of the direction that she went, which was completely different of what we had in the past. So do you want to make sure your programs at the Polk County level are running as efficiently and as well as possible? Or do you want to have a voice at the state system, which in my opinion, doesn't matter. They're going to do what they're going to do. So there's two types of positions. And she changed the position, obviously, but you see where that goes. If you're in that circle, you tend to get grabbed by the ones that want more of that type of position rather than taking care of your own department in a small semi-rural county. So
Yeah, I think it's both and. She was very, obviously, a big advocate for public health modernization and a big voice in that, obviously, with Clove. A lot of that, at least is premised on local responsiveness to needs. I think some of the funding awards through that don't reflect that super well, and I don't think.
don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah,
I believe that Polk County would probably be better off with a manager that manages public health and works cooperatively with the surrounding counties rather than pushing statewide goals, and that we're not big enough to have that. Because we can't have two people in there, one making sure the program at the ground level is working and one doing that. Big counties, they can do whatever they want because they have 3 or 4 of those people. I think that's more of a, you guys got to decide what you want in that position and then go from there, because you're going to target 2 different types of people.
It'll influence how we target them as well. And if we need to make changes to the job specification and the recruitment announcement, and all of that will be heavily influenced by what you really want to see in the type of person you want to see in the position and what work they do.
So you just heard leaving this and moving up, it's just a testament to the quality of people that Polk County has working for us. It seems like Polk County has a way to attract the really elite. Maintaining those people though and keeping them here, some of them want to stay here at this level, they keep. At the same time, it's exciting seeing somebody here that moves up, and then we have that influence that we can always go back and touch because they're up there in a higher level. But it helps us in the long runs. But listening to the one say, I don't want to see one or the other, I'd like to see just a good balance. Somebody that stays, just doesn't sit in their offices, doesn't pay attention to it.
For that.
It's a different.
I'm just telling you reality.
Yep.
If you're that good and can balance those both,
I think
you're going to blow your salary out of the water.
Engagement with those associations and state level groups is, that can be a matter of degree too. You don't have to chair the groups, but you could participate enough to understand.
Just to be informed.
I think that's the difference.
And to bring Polk County's needs to that venue.
But if you're good in that arena, you get sucked in more and more, and they take you away from here. That's all I'm saying. I could go play in the AOC arena, but go nuts.
We all have to be judicious with our time there.
So
Yeah, that's all I have. Do we have a need for an executive session?
No, sir.
no, sir.